Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. I know if any of you have fished much and you catch a fish and you got to get the hook out of the fish, well, somehow you've got to hold the fish. And if you grab it by the jaw, now you can't do that with sharp toothy fish like pike or pickerel or muskies or even walleyes because they do have sharp teeth. But bass and panfish and trout, a lot of times we grip them by the jaw, we hold them with one hand, and we try to get the hook out. And those fish are flapping. And this this is what causes, in so many cases, somebody to get a treble hook in their hand. Treble hooks are much more likely to hook into you because there's 3 hooks instead of 1. They're usually smaller, and they can be, there's so many people that end up going to the hospital to get hooks out of them. So here's what I've discovered, and it isn't my discovery. I've seen other people do this, but I've never really spent much time trying it. I've been wading in the Grass River in particular, and I just love that kind of fishing. And so when I catch a fish, again, I'm all alone out there. There's nobody to help me if I get a hook in me. And I started just by chance on one of the bigger bass that I caught, instead of grabbing it by the jaw, because they're so powerful that even if you've got strong hands, a lot of times they can flip harder than your grip and you can lose them. So instead, I put my hand under the fish sideways and just sort of cradled it in my palm. And lo and behold, the fish stopped struggling. And I was able, even with the hook still in its mouth, it allowed me to wrestle with that hook and try to wedge it out somehow and finally get it out. And the fish was patient. And I'm thinking, does it trust me? Does it all of a sudden trust me that I'm not going to hurt it? I doubt if they're that smart, but who knows? But the point of it is, by holding it in your hand that way, and I don't mean even holding, just letting it lay across the palm of your hand. If you grip it from the top, where its dorsal fin comes up, they're spiky and they can grab you, but those spikes will come up immediately and it'll also wiggle. But somehow, if you lay it sideways in the palm of your hand, just lay it down like it's going to take a nap, those fish won't struggle. And since that one fish that I did that with, I thought, okay, I'm going to try this again and again and again. And every single fish, big or small, that I laid in the palm of my hand like that, they stopped struggling. And they almost waited until the hook was out. And then, because I was holding them that way, instead of just dropping them back in the water, I tended to lower my hand to the surface and slowly let them swim away. And it was such a different experience. And I thought, this is really important. This really can make a difference. Now, still, when you lay it in your hand like that, if there's a treble hook stuck in that fish's mouth, then it's still going to become more dangerous. It's one of the reasons I don't use lures with trebles anymore. All I use is a single hook. But that's safer for the fish as well. And one other point that I want to make about this that I think is important, the smaller the hooks that you use, if you're hooking something onto the hook like a soft plastic, and there's millions of soft plastic baits, the smaller the hook that you use, and it still matches with the bait itself, so it's not a mismatch, the easier it is, I think, to set the hook, and also in an adverse way to have that hook go into their stomach. When a fish first gulps a lure in, anything, any bait, whatever you have, it's a natural process where it gulps it in and swallows. Its stomach muscles start to move and it starts to try to swallow that bait. Doesn't take long, and your hook can get down in its stomach. And if you've got a little bitty hook, it's much easier for that to go into its stomach, and you're going to kill more fish. So I guess there's nothing perfect. There's nothing perfect. But just be aware. I've been losing a lot of smallmouth lately because I've been using a bigger single hook, and I think it's harder to get that hook set because I'm using light tackle, but that's a whole nother report. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.